When she exited the restroom, she went to a bedside nightstand, opened the top drawer, and then retrieved a bottle of pills and handed them to me. If memory serves, she said, "This is what you're looking for," and handed it to me.
Now, this pill bottle, did it have her name on it?
No, sir.
Is it fair to say it had someone else's name on it?
Yes, sir.
If you recall.
I can't recall the name, but it did. It was not Brenda Sanchez.
She's on felony probation, 2 theft cases. 5 years she agreed to follow the law, stay away from bad influences, and complete 300 hours of community service. Simple rules. Today, law enforcement showed up at her house and found hydromorphone, a controlled substance, in a pill bottle that wasn't even in her name. Her daughter was allegedly dealing, her boyfriend had warrants, and she voluntarily handed the drugs to the detective herself. Now the judge has to decide, was this a woman trying to do better, or someone who never really stopped? Watch what happens.
All right, Brenda Sanchez. So we've got witnesses with regard to the, oh, you're not the DA. Hi. Witness with regard to the, y'all can have a seat at council table then. Would you turn on the all right, this is cause numbers 20-33832 and 20-34508. In addition to 26 DCCR 0027, ma'am, you're Brenda K. Sanchez. And Ms. Sanchez was previously in court, pled not true to all counts in a motion to revoke probation. And cause numbers 20-34508 and 20-33832. I've received an updated pre-sentence report. Have you both had an opportunity to review that report?
The state has it.
Any additions or corrections to that report?
No. None of the state.
All right, then, Mr. Coleman.
At this time, the state calls Kenneth Kitchens. Judge, as he makes his way up, before I get too far, I ask the court to take judicial notice of the court's file, including the all of the records and documents related to the probation or probations in this case.
I will take judicial notice of all of that. Mr. Kitchens, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. And if you just kind of pull that microphone a little closer, make sure it's on. There you go.
Mr. Kitchens, would you please state your full name for the court reporter?
Kenneth Kitchens.
And Mr. Kitchens, the court's familiar with you and how you're employed, but for purposes of the record, how are you employed, sir?
I'm a community supervision officer with Jefferson County Adult Probation.
And how long have you been with adult probation?
I've been with probation total of about 5 years.
And as part of your duties, do you supervise the defendants who are placed on probation here in Jefferson County?
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to supervise the defendant in this case of Brenda Sanchez?
Very briefly, yes.
So is it fair to say that you were not the original probation officer or officers on the case to supervise these subjects?
No, sir.
But you did familiarize yourself with the records as it pertains to her probation case or cases and her supervision, correct?
Yes, it is.
And you, by virtue of your employment, you consider a custodian of record there at the probation department, correct?
That's correct.
And as also as part of your duties, you're aware that she was placed, and again, the court's familiar with this, but I want to make a record here. 2 concurrent theft, felony theft cases that she was on a 5-year deferred on, 5-year probation on, correct?
That's correct.
And that 5-year term began in February of 2021, right?
Yes,
These are 3rd-degree felony theft cases, correct?
that is correct.
And do you see the individual here in the courtroom today that you have come to know as Brenda Sanchez?
I do.
Would you please point to her and identify her by an article of clothing that she is wearing, please?
She's wearing the blue jumpsuit.
I ask the record reflect the witnesses of the indictment, Judge.
The record will so reflect.
And you're familiar through your duties there at the probation department with the process by which the conditions of probation is explained to each and every defendant, right?
Yes,
And is that the case, that the conditions of probation after a defendant is, or defendants are shortly placed on probation, they are explained to that defendant?
yes,
And do you have any reason to doubt that the conditions of this, or this defendant was not explained to her shortly after she was placed on probation?
I do not believe she understands them.
Okay. I'm sorry, I had a little trouble hearing. I don't know if the court reporter need to. Any reason to doubt that she was not explained the conditions of probation?
No, she was explaining this.
Okay, good. Everybody.
I don't understand that any reason to think that
I know it's confusing.
it's not explained.
Let me
Any
try
reason to think that it's not
to
explained.
ask it a better way, Judge. Any reason to think that this defendant was not explained her conditions of probation needs, please?
No reason for it now.
Okay, thank you. Her conditions of probation, did they include not violating the law or laws of the state, any other state or of the federal, in federal law?
They did.
And her conditions of probation, did they include, by way of summarizing it, not associating herself with any people or persons of disreputable character?
That's correct.
And did her conditions of probation, again, by way of summary, include not possessing either any illegal drugs or legal narcotics for which there is a prescription that she has not provided probation department with a copy of that prescription?
That is correct.
And lastly, was she required to do or perform a certain number of community service hours?
Yes.
And what were, or how many community service hours?
She had a total of 300 hours in each case remaining. Last case, she only completed 200 hours.
Just so I'm clear, the total at the beginning was 600?
600, yes.
And to date, how many has she completed or how much has she left?
Today she is about 400 hours total.
That she needs to do or
Yeah,
that
she's
she's done.
complete, yes. But she's completed 200 hours.
Oh,
Okay,
and as it relates to prescriptions or prescription for any controlled substances, do your records indicate that she's provided the probation department with any copy of any prescriptions for any controlled substances?
We have not received any record, any prescriptions.
Just to be clear, no prescription for either hydromorphone or the Judge, you know what I did? I neglected to mention that I want to invoke the rule. I think there may be a potential weakness here in the courtroom.
okay.
I don't know that he's not. You have to testify. You have to, you're here to testify. No, he's not.
He gave me that record, and that it makes him a potential witness.
Well, I'm not
He may-
calling him. If the state's gonna call him, that's fine. I'm not, I'll represent to the court. I'm not gonna call him. If Mr. Gold is gonna call him, then he's under the rule and.
Just to fill in the blank, Judge, for the court, today, Mr. Kimmel gave me what he purported to be a prescription that individual provided him with. So he's a potential witness.
All right, step outside the courtroom, sir. Yeah, just step outside. If they need you to come back in and testify, they'll bring you back in.
Sorry.
That's fine. Thank you.
Mr. Kitchens, so just to be clear, the defendant has not provided probation department with a copy or prescription for a hydromorphone, or commonly referred to as dilated or Dilaudid.
No, sir.
That's all the questions I have. I'll pass them to the judge.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman. Mr. Kimmler?
The community service, she has 2 cases, correct?
Yes,
Did she get 300 hours on each case?
yes.
That's not concurrent? That's consecutive?
That's consecutive, yes, sir.
My understanding is that's usually concurrent community service for each case, so it should be a total of 300 hours.
It would be concurrent if she completed half within her first year of probation.
Well, if she's done half being what, 300 or 200?
300.
150.
300.
Okay, so the 200 hours was completed when?
It was last work 2024, October 17th, 2024.
Is there a court order saying it's consecutive or concurrent, or is that just the practice of the probation?
This is practice probation office. We don't make them do them all together. If they complete half within the first year,
Well, Okay, what about probation fees and other things? Those are concurrent, I think, like the probation supervisory fee, that's concurrent.
Yes.
$60
Mhm.
a month, that's concurrent?
That's supervision fees. If she has multiple cases, supervision fees and the main case, and then the other things have court costs and stuff. There's only one set of supervision fees.
The court costs are consecutive, I understand that. I wasn't aware that the community services staff. So in any case, she has completed 200 hours. Was that, on which case was the 200 hours assigned?
That was her calls number 20-33832.
The lower cause number is done first or second on the community service? How do you make the determination which case to assign the hours, the completed hours to, if they're consecutive?
Like I said, the main case in this case here would be the felony case. It's got the hours on it. That's where they would go.
Why is it the
first.
main case?
It's a felony charge.
They're both third-degree felonies.
It's the main case that has the supervision fees, and
Why is it the main case versus?
Well, how is that
I'm
relevant
trying to
to me?
understand her.
Well, no, you can ask them after if you need to understand it, but as far as it goes today, she's ordered 300 in each case. She's done 200. So I understand that there are times when they waive part of them depending on when they get them done.
This wasn't, and the way I've explained it in part of it is that it's concurrent. I've explained that to people in the past.
Right.
It's my first time that I've
Okay.
learned today that they actually are stacked, that the hours are stacked.
Okay.
Would you agree that she made a good faith effort to do community service? She's done 200 hours.
at the time, yeah, she did.
And you've only supervised her for how long?
I've had her since September 25,
Okay.
2025.
That's a while, right? Is it long enough that you come to know her or become familiar with her or not?
No, sir. I've only met with her twice. Both times when she was taken into custody.
Yeah. So is there a problem with her reporting while she was out or not?
No, sir.
She's been in custody that long or how long?
She was in custody and on the new charge and bonded out, and then she saw me again, and that was whenever the warrant was done. So.
Okay, so she really hasn't had an opportunity, would you agree with you, at least to demonstrate compliance or non-compliance while out, free to
No, sir.
be supervised? The times that you have met with her, do you see any, as far as your position, any issues with her demeanor or attitude towards you?
No, sir.
If the court were to see fit to continue on probation, would you be willing to continue to supervise her? And
Yes.
do you think she can benefit from further supervision or not?
I believe
Based on
so.
what she's saying. I'm sorry.
Yes.
What kind of programs do you think would be available to aid her in her rehabilitation and her progress on probation?
Safety. We are being placed on high risk caseload with 0 tolerance. They continue probation.
What about drop program or JCDI or any other available things in-house without being,
JCDI, be a good one.
and you'd be willing to work with her and continue to supervise?
Yes.
That's what she,
Other further questions for Mr. Kitchens, Yard?
Thank you, Mr. Kitchen. You can step down.
This time, the state will call Detective Christopher Raymer.
Detective Raymer. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You can have a seat. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you please state your full name for the court report?
It's Christopher Lee Raymer.
And Detective Raymer, how are you employed, sir?
I'm a narcotics detective with the Orange County Sheriff Department.
And how long have you been with Orange County?
A little over a year.
And prior to that, were you with the Beaumont Police Department?
Yes, sir, I was.
And were you working, what capacity were you working with Beaumont PD back in August or on August the 15th, 2020?
I would have been in the narcotics unit.
And did you have an occasion on that day to visit a residence located at 5760 Road, Indian Trail in Beaumont, Texas?
Yes, sir, I did.
And that's located in Jefferson County, Texas, correct?
Yes, sir.
Please explain to the judge the nature of your contact or the visit, entry your visit to that residence that day?
That day we've gotten several complaints from neighbors and people living in the area of what they believe to be drug distribution coming from that residence. Uh, Me and some other narcotics detectives began the investigation that led us to that residence. And that day we were conducting a knock and talk operation.
And that background information that you received prior to the knock and talk, what, if anything, did it indicate or indicated was being distributed out of that residence?
Objection hearsay.
Uh, I will draw that question, Judge. What did, what happened after the knock and talk was conducted?
Objection calls for a narrative response.
Overruled. Go ahead.
Once the knock and talk was initiated, the uniformed narcotics officers that made contact, they made contact with two individuals, at which point they notified us to move up. One of the individuals had made an admission that there was marijuana inside the residence.
Let's talk about those individuals. One of those individuals was a Heather Pena, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the other individual was Angel Martinez.
Yes, sir.
And based on your investigation and the facts from the scene that day, or your observations from the scene that day, how was Heather Pena connected to that residence?
Heather Pena was the daughter of Brenda Sanchez, who also lived at that residence.
So we've got knock and talk, contact with Heather Pena, contact with the Angel Martinez. What, if anything, did Angel Martinez admit to?
Again, Your Honor, it's hearsay.
I would draw that question, Judge.
I asked the state be instructed not to attempt to elicit hearsay. That's your
It's overruled. He's withdrawn the question. Go ahead.
Martinez, he was arrested, correct?
Yes, sir.
For a MTRP warrant, correct?
Yes, sir.
And pursuant to being arrested, and Judge, this will elicit hearsay, however, it's an exception, as that it does not go to the truth of the matter asserted. In other words, the ultimate issue in this case being whether or not this defendant possessed the peoples.
I'll let the state ask the question before I object, Your Honor.
What after Mr. Martinez did he ask? What after he was arrested did he ask be done?
Objection, hearsay also violates right to confront cross-examine under Crawford.
Doesn't go to the ultimate issue as to whether or not this defendant possessed the peoples, Judge.
It's testimonial. If it doesn't, then it's irrelevant.
Overruled. Go ahead.
What did he ask?
He had asked for his cell phone and his wallet.
And then for officers, who did he ask retrieve that?
He asked Heather Pena to retrieve it.
For officer safety, did you accompany Pena into that residence?
I did.
And for the reason of,
Yeah, for officer safety reasons, when someone enters their residence after of a mission that we heard, we want to ensure that they're not retrieving some type of weapon or destroying evidence or something of that nature. So we followed in as protection for ourselves.
and nevertheless, in this process of you accompanying Pena into the residence to obtain or retrieve Martinez's cell phone, did you observe marijuana?
I did in the closet area on a tray. It looked like marijuana.
Okay. Eventually, you backed out of there. At some point, was the defendant Brenda Sanchez contacted by cell phone?
She was.
And after she was contacted by cell phone, did she arrive on scene?
Yes, sir.
Once Brenda Sanchez arrived on scene, what, if anything, happened next?
Again, it calls for a narrative. And what happened then? After she arrived on scene, what happened?
Would you rather him lead him?
Yes, Your Honor, I would. So I would have an opportunity to object to each individual question.
Overruled. Ask your question.
What happened when Brenda Sanchez arrived on the scene?
She had requested the use of the restroom, of which we followed her in, so she could use her.
Yeah, and just let's clear it up for the judge. I mean, everybody's outside at this point.
Yes, sir.
And you know, we've got Martinez, we've got Pena, and then now Sanchez has arrived on scene. Everybody's outside of the residence.
Yes, sir.
And for officer safety reasons, you're not gonna just let anybody walk in and then walk out of that break.
Correct.
So what did you do once she indicated that she needed to use the restroom?
I followed her into the restroom, and
But you didn't follow into the restroom.
not into the restroom, into her bedroom, which that primary bedroom had an ensuite bathroom. She went into the restroom, and then I stayed outside near the entry door to the bedroom.
Now, when what if anything happened when she exited the restroom?
When she exited the restroom, she went to a bedside nightstand, opened the top drawer, and then retrieved a bottle of pills and handed them to me. If memory serves, she said, "This is what you're looking for," and handed it to me.
Now, this pill bottle, did it have her name on
No, sir.
it? Is it fair to say it had someone else's name on it?
Yes, sir.
If you recall.
I can't recall the name, but it was not Brenda Sanchez.
And inside this pill bottle, what did, in your training experience, what did it appear to be?
The Dilaudid.
A number of pills?
Yes, sir.
If you remember the number or the amount or the weight?
I believe the
That's
weight.
only if you remember.
Yeah, it was 11 grams.
And this 11 grams of what you believe to be Dilaudid, was it ultimately sent to the lab?
Yes, sir.
Was it analyzed?
Yes, sir.
And was there a result after it was analyzed?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would offer state's exhibit number 1, a lab report pursuant to a certificate of analysis that's been on file for the requisite time
Yeah.
and has not been objected to.
Objection. Hearsay, Your Honor, also chain of custody has been established between the substance that was seized and the substance that was tested.
Did you file an objection within the time frame for the certificate of analysis that was filed?
I'm objecting that the chain of custody hasn't been established. I believe the certificate of analysis is accurate, but he hasn't laid the predicate for the chain of custody that was what was actually tested, was what was seized and submitted to the lab.
I'm happy to do that, Judge. I'll draw my offer, state's one at this time, pending calling a conditional witness
Okay.
to establish the chain of custody, Judge. Once you received that pill bottle that was given to you by the defendant, what did you do with it?
I provided that to the lead case agent, which was Detective Matt Neal.
Detective Matthew Neal, is Detective Matthew Neal here too?
Yes, sir.
Judge, I think that's all. Let me ask you this, couple of housekeeping questions. Hydromorphone, or was commonly referred to as Dilaudid. I don't know why I have some trouble stumbling over that word. Is that a controlled substance in
Yes.
in the state of Texas?
Yes, sir.
Is that possession of that, would that be a violation of, would it be a penalty root 1 substance in violation of section 481.115 of the Texas Health and Safety Code?
Yes, sir.
And as far as you know, with possession of 4 grams or more, but less than 200 grams, be a second-degree felony.
Yes, sir.
Now, these individuals who occupied this residence, well, what, if any, information did you develop in your investigation that would link this defendant to that residence?
Yeah, I object to the global nature of the question, Your Honor.
Overruled.
And to the extent that involves hearsay.
Let me rephrase. During the course of your investigation, did you develop information that allegedly this was her residence, that she resided there?
Yes.
During the course of your investigation, did you develop information that indicated that she resided there with Heather Pena and Ricky Woods, albeit on another part of that property, but he was there on that property?
Yes.
Now, this Ricky Woods, this Heather Pena, you understand that part of our condition of probation is not to associate with people of disreputable character.
Yes, sir.
In your understanding or your common understanding of a person with disreputable character, how would you characterize Ricky Woods and Heather Pena?
Both subjects have had lengthy criminal histories. I know Heather was very well known as a drug dealer.
And again, I don't know if we covered this, maybe I'm thinking back to our hearing prep or trial prep, but you received, there have been complaints, is it fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Neighborhood or neighbor complaints
Citizen complaints. Yes, sir.
about the comings and goings there at that residence?
Yes, sir. A lot of vehicle traffic, bicycle traffic, and people walking to and from that residence.
And based on your training experience, what, if anything, is that, or could that be indicative of?
Drug distribution.
I'll pass it with Mr. Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Bowman. Mr. Kimler?
Warren,
Morning, sir.
I'm not gonna ask you details if there is a confidential informant. Was a confidential informant used in this particular case, or was it just citizen complaints?
There was CI was used, not by me, by the lead detective, Matthew Neal.
And so the evidence that the CA was able to provide to you wasn't sufficient to obtain a warrant? You just relied on a knock and talk?
Knock and talk was, at the time, the citizens were very upset, and that was a way that we could handle an issue or at least show attention to the issue rather quickly.
So am I correct in understanding your answer is that it was based on an expedited, a desire to expedite the interaction where it would preclude using the CI's information to obtain a warrant?
Well, the reason for expedition on something of this nature, Judge, is that the audits are oftentimes fake pills and things of that nature. Beaumont at that time, I can speak to, was seeing a large number of overdoses, and the fact that the audits associated with overdoses, we wanted to show attention to the fact that possible pills being sold from there.
Exigent circumstances, correct?
So,
So am I correct in understanding that the CI possibly provided information that dilaudid were being distributed?
I didn't
Specific
understand. I couldn't tell you.
Well, it seems to be what you're saying, though, that was the reason to expedite and go to a knock and talk versus using information from the CI to obtain a warrant. Is that
If we could do something to possibly stop overdoses, we were gonna do it.
Well, what I'm saying is that's predicated on knowledge that dilaudid was being distributed, and that goes beyond the citizen complaints. Is that correct?
Can you repeat that for me?
The desire to take dilaudid or remove dilaudid from the streets, the knowledge of that possibly being the source, that residents being the source of that distribution, that was the reason to expedite to a knock and talk versus using the information to obtain a search.
You would have to ask Matt Newt that. He was the lead case agent.
Who initiated the knock and talk?
It was Officer Visser and Officer Brown.
And uniformed officers, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And to be correct and just accurate, Ms. Sanchez was not present at that time, is that correct?
Not when they made their initial contact.
The initial contact was made and was entry made at that point or not?
No, sir.
When was entry made after the initial contact, and what was the reason for entry being made?
The entry was made when Mr. Martinez requested his cell phone and wallet, and then I accompanied Ms. Pena to retrieve that.
And Martinez was in custody at that point?
Yes, sir.
For what warrants, or what was the reason?
I believe an MTRP one.
Active warrant.
Yes, sir.
And he answered the door, or was
I
retrieved?
believe Ms. Pena answered it.
And how was Mr. Martinez retrieved with the active warrant?
He exited the residence while they were speaking with Ms. Pena.
And then a warrant check was run, or did he volunteer that he had a warrant?
I believe a check was run in his name.
And so an officer accompanied Ms. Pena into the residence, is that right?
Yes, sir, I did.
You did.
Yes, sir.
And you said you observed marijuana, what you believe is marijuana?
Yes, sir, in the closet area.
Is there any way to distinguish illegal marijuana from legal hemp at this stage?
Outside the smell of it, which I could smell it, and the look, I've had many cases with marijuana. It appeared to be marijuana to me.
And based upon that, you didn't have probable cause to search the residence?
We had probable cause, but we would, at this point, we were still talking to Mr. Martinez outside. Heather Pena was in the room, so we wanted to retrieve that out. I believe one of the other detectives was speaking with Ms. Sanchez on the cell phone at that time.
Was the substance retrieved or not?
The marijuana?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
it was retrieved.
It was taken into my custody and given to Detective Neal at that time.
Do you know if that was ever tested or not?
I don't know.
What was the approximate
Yeah,
quantity?
Sir,
What was the approximate quantity?
I don't remember.
What, more than a felony amount or a misdemeanor? 4 ounces above or less than 4
I don't
ounces?
remember.
At that point, was your entry in the residence predicated on extra circumstances and probable cause or not? Or
At that point, I was strictly for officer safety reasons. Once that was done, we exited the prison.
So it still wasn't, it wasn't a situation where you're conducting a full search based upon exigent circumstances and probable cause, is
No,
that
sir.
right? So you exited the residence, correct,
Yes, sir.
with Ms. Pena and the cell phone?
The cell phone, wallet, and the box that she retrieved that had additional narcotics in it, what I believe to be narcotics.
And what was in the box?
It was additional marijuana and some pills, I believe.
Did you direct her to do that or she did
No,
that?
she did it. I asked her, she picked up a box, not knowing what's in that box, whether it's a weapon or something like that. I asked her if she would open it. She willingly opened it for me, and that's where the narcotics was.
Okay, so she was she placed under arrest or not?
No, sir.
So you're outside of the residence now, right? Everyone's outside of the residence?
Yes, sir.
Did you conduct a protective sweep while you were inside the residence?
So, I don't believe I did. It may be another officer. I didn't.
So who else entered the residence besides you with Miss Pena?
Officer Visser.
So both you, Visser, and Pena exited the residence?
Yes, sir.
And to your knowledge, no one was in the residence at that?
To my knowledge.
And then someone called Miss Sanchez, or what's your understanding what occurred?
That was my understanding that Detective Neal was speaking with Miss Sanchez via cell phone.
So Detective Neal initiated contact with Miss Sanchez?
That would be something he would have to answer. I don't know how he got in
You
contact.
don't-
I just know he was speaking to her on the cell phone.
You don't know whether he called her or how the contact was
Right.
initiated. In any event, you observed Miss Sanchez to return or to come to the residence?
Yes, sir.
And then when she came to the residence, obviously she's outside of the residence when she arrives. In the context of her entering the residence was what?
That she needed to use her restroom.
So she advised you or someone that she needed to enter the
She
residence?
advised everybody that she needed to use her restroom.
So based upon that, you accompanied her into the house
Yes, sir.
and observed her to enter the restroom and master of sleep?
Yes, sir.
And then when she exited the restroom, did you provide her any directions as far as, hey, you need to provide us with whatever illegal narcotics are in here, any kind
No,
of
sir.
direction or
No, sir.
commands, anything like that?
No, sir. I don't know what her and Detective Neal spoke about, but I didn't give her any.
Well, did you give her any directions like, I want to see your hands, don't grab anything, don't make any sudden move, any kind of those type of directions?
No, I just made sure that she wasn't I didn't see her with anything in her hands coming out of the bathroom, anything I need to for my safety.
Obviously, anybody can be a threat, but was there anything particular about her conduct that would initiate any type of additional vigilance on your part that she was a potential threat? Anything she did to cause you to have that extra concern with her?
It's not extra concern. We would treat every situation in that nature of anyone re-entering or entering a residence when law enforcement's on scene.
But she didn't do anything in particular that would cause you.
She didn't make any threats, if that's what you're.
Furtive movements, those types of things, nothing like that?
No, sir. Not that I remember.
So when she approached the nightstand and attempted to open the nightstand drawer, did that cause you concern?
It did,
And for what reason?
because I don't know what's in that nightstand.
Could be a weapon. is that
Could be
right?
a weapon, could be she's trying to get narcotics to destroy them.
Well, what's your first concern? It has to be a weapon, right? You're talking officer safety.
Absolutely.
Did you direct her not to open the drawer?
I walked closer to her and she reached in.
Well, did you direct her, don't open that drawer? Don't open the drawer there. I don't want you to do that.
I don't recall.
Well, do you think that would be consistent with officer safety to direct her not to open the drawer?
I would figure so, but I don't recall if I did or not.
Well, would it be customary or regular on your part to perhaps an unknown object in the drawer with a suspect in a narcotics investigation to direct them not to open a drawer with unknown things in the drawer?
It would.
Yeah. So you don't know if you directed her or not to
I
open
don't
the drawer?
recall, no, sir.
In any case, she opened the drawer
Yes, sir.
and that was without your direction. Is that right? She did
Yes,
it of
sir.
her own volition
Right.
and reached in and handed you a bottle of pills?
Yes, sir.
So you let her reach into the drawer, not knowing what's in the drawer?
Yes, sir.
Even though you're concerned with your safety?
Right.
Does that make sense, or is that a good idea?
Objection, this has become kind of argumentative at this point, Judge.
It's not, it's cross-examination, Your Honor.
Well, I think it's kind of been asked and answered about the safety and, go ahead.
So, perceive,
Yeah, ask the question.
did you perceive it to be a threat when she put her hand into the drawer?
Her actions, she wasn't making assertive movements and in that nature. Again, I wasn't, when she exited, I wanted to ensure that for her privacy, I wasn't looking so closely at her. She made her way to the nightstand, and at which time she opened it and handed me the pills.
My question was, did you perceive it to be a threat when she put her hand into the nightstand?
No.
Yes or no? No?
No, sir.
And she retrieved a bottle, correct?
Yes, sir.
And she handed it to you,
Yes, sir.
and you opened it?
I opened it after we walked out of the residence.
And describe what you saw in the bottle.
It was pills that I commonly see to be Dilaudid.
Describe the pills.
I can't recall the pills.
You don't know
Although, according to my report, I believe them to be Dilaudid.
What did Dilaudid usually look like in that milligram capacity? Do you know?
I didn't hear.
What did Dilaudid usually look like when they're in that milligram capacity?
I can't recall.
And was there a person's name on the prescription bottle?
There was, I don't recall the name, but I know it wasn't Brenda Sanchez.
Right. Do you have your report with you?
I do.
Would that refresh your recollection as whose name?
It's
was?
not MR.
Hmm. That's not an important fact, you don't think?
Oh, it is, but that bottle was given to the lead case agent. I'm sure he can attest to what was on the bottle as he
Okay.
was the one doing the process.
If I represent to you, again, I don't know, I wasn't there, look at the bottle, but potentially the name was, Mark Bridges. Would that be inconsistent with your recollection? You just don't know.
I wouldn't recall that, sir.
Did she appear to be under the influence of hydromorphone?
No, sir.
What are the characteristics of somebody that's under the influence of hydromorphone?
It's considered a downer, so she would be lethargic, something in that nature.
Slurred speech, the normal customary
Yes, sir.
indications of narcotic intoxication to the person, right?
Yes, sir. She didn't appear to be intoxicated to me.
Wasn't slurring her words, didn't have blown out pupils, anything of that nature?
Not to my knowledge.
Deserve any, well, how is Dalhousie commonly ingested by
Uh,
street users?
Pill form.
How do they ingest it?
They swallow it.
How else do they ingest
They
it?
can smoke it.
How else?
That's some. I mean, you could liquefy it and shoot it. I
Intravenously.
mean, any way an addict wants to use drugs, they'll figure a way to
Is
use
it
it.
usual and customary to be used intravenously, or do you know?
Most of the time, as far as my knowledge, a lot of times it's mostly taken by pill form or smoked.
Not injected?
Can.
Did you observe any signs on this Sanchez of recent use of
I didn't.
intravenous drug use?
I didn't look for that.
Was she cooperative, reasonable,
Yes,
respectful?
to a point.
What do you
Yes,
need to a point? Did she do anything?
sir. Well, I mean, anytime you show back up to your house knowing that there's possible narcotics, you're not gonna be too happy that you see law enforcement at your house, but
What did she
she
do?
wasn't rude.
She wasn't rude.
Yes, not a. She was cooperative.
Was she placed in handcuffs and taken into custody?
I don't recall. I don't believe so. I know she wasn't taken into custody.
Did you ever run a search on that residence or not?
I did not know, sir.
Or do you know if one's ever run?
I don't believe so.
I'll pass with.
I have no further questions for Detective Rand.
Thank you, Detective.
Yes, ma'am. State called Detective Matthew Neal.
All right, Detective Neal. Good morning, sir. Good. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're going to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. You can have a seat. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you please state your full name for the court reporter?
Matthew Neal, Neal,
Detective Neal, how are you employed, sir?
with the Beaumont Police Department,
And how long have you been with BPD?
since January of 2019.
And back in August, specifically on August the 15th of 2024, what capacity were you working with BPD?
I was a undercover narcotics detective.
And we've already heard testimony from Detective Christopher Raymer about what happened there on that day at 5760 Indian Trail. So I'm not going to rehash a lot of that. The main reason why I called you as a witness is to shore up the chain of custody for the appeals in this particular case. You were on scene that day with Detective Raymer, correct?
Yes, sir. It was by operation.
Now approach the witness, Judge.
Yes, sir.
Detective Neal, I want you to take a look at these documents because these were things that I didn't specifically show you during our pre-hearing prep.
Okay.
I just kind of like blindsided you with those. Take a moment or two to take a look at.
Okay.
Again, with regard to the chain of custody for the appeals that are the subject of this hearing, and the motion to revoke this defendant's probation, the pill bottle that the defendant gave to Detective Raymer, did Detective Raymer give you that pill bottle?
Yes, sir.
And did you subsequently send the contents of that pill bottle to the lab?
I took them to our Beaumont Police Department property or evidence room, and they sent them out to the lab from there.
Did you fill out a lab submission form?
Yes, sir.
And is that one of the documents that you're looking at there?
Yes, sir.
Now, that lab submission form contains certain information, such as, the defendant's name, the defendant's date of birth, the offense report, or offense, the report number of case agency number. Are all of those things likewise contained in the lab analysis or the final report from the lab? In other words, the defendant's name, defendant's date of birth, and your agency case number.
As far as her name, it's got the pills, what the pills were identified as.
But may I approach the witness?
Yes, sir.
May help if, since I'm familiar with it, if I
Okay.
go side by side here with you. Um. Offense date,
Yes, sir.
that's referring to your lab submission form. Offense date, and we're, again, for the record, we're referring to state's exhibit number 1, right?
Correct.
States 1 also has the defendant's name and date of
Yes.
birth. The lab submission form. Defendant's name, date of birth.
Correct.
All right. Agency case number on this lab submission form there,
Yes, sir.
and state's exhibit number 1, is there a agency case number on there?
Same case number.
Based on your review of these documents and your recollection of your involvement in this case, do you have any reason to doubt that the pills that were given to you by Detective Rayner, that you filled out a lab submission form for, or were analyzed and reflected in state's exhibit number 1, the lab report or final report from the lab in this case?
I have no doubt.
Your Honor, at this time, the state will reoffer state's exhibit number 1.
Your Honor, at this time, I would object that the lab report is true. The poisonous tree, the substance that was reported to have been tested under the state's lab report was seized in violation of the defendant's right to be free from unreasonable search and seizure, both under federal and state law. It was an unlawful search that was obtained. The substances that were analyzed was obtained under, so I would object that it violates her right to be free from unreasonable search and seizure.
How did they seize that when she handed it to them?
They're inside of the residence. It's a knock and talk. It was a little potential custodial situation. There was no warrant. The knock and talk itself.
It's overruled.
Predicated on.
State's 1's admitted.
May I approach the city and judge?
Yeah.
Detective Neal, just one final question or two. With regard to what they characterize in this lab report as the results and conclusions, what was the result or conclusion of this lab report?
The pills were identified as hydromorph bone, which is commonly known as Dilaudid.
Judge, pass the witness.
Just briefly, I'm not going to get into the details of your investigation, but you were the lead officer, is that right?
Correct.
Decision was made to do a knock and talk instead of obtaining a search warrant. Could you
Correct.
maybe elucidate that for me? Why was that decision made?
It was just the easiest route to go. And it was a complaint location that we were getting calls from neighbors and other citizens in the area, and we had to take action. And instead of going through a longer process, an easier process is conducting a knock and talk and speak with the people that are in question.
I just want to be clear. So it was just an easier method to pursue at that particular.
It was the best method at that time.
Why was it the best method? Was there something that would have precluded or made it particularly problematic to obtain a search warrant, or was it just more expeditious to do a knock and talk?
It was more expeditious, and like I said, it was the best route in my investigation to conduct a knock and talk.
Yeah, I understand why you're saying this, but I was trying to understand the factual predicate of why it was the best route. What was the particular reason? Was it, for instance, was there no probable cause that the confidential informant hadn't risen to that level yet to get a warrant? Or would it just taken too long to have gotten a warrant?
No, we had everything we needed if we wanted to go that route.
I understand. So is this easier to go than the knock?
It was the best route.
Was it easier?
Not
He's
that-
answered the question. Please move on.
For the purposes of the record, Your Honor, on the legality of the search, I think it's necessary.
He's answered it.
I'll pass it.
I have no further questions for Detective Neal now.
Thank you, Detective. You can
Thank
step
you.
down.
State of Texas rest.
All right, any witnesses?
Ms. Sanchez, Your Honor.
Ms. Sanchez, come on up, please, ma'am. Come on up to the chair. Ms. Sanchez. Best you can, raise your right hand, please, ma'am. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Ms. Sanchez, you've heard the testimony of both of the officers. Does that basically comport with your recollection of the events that they testified to, or do you have a different recollection?
Basically, there's a few differences, but, basically,
What are the, what are the differences?
after I left the restroom and I went to the nightstand, I had a friend that had been staying there a couple of nights because he was going through a divorce. We had put his medication in there, and I was really hoping it wasn't still in there, but it was. So I got it and I did call the officer and handed it to him. They did not wait till they left the bedroom. All of them congregated together at the end of my bed there, about 4 or 5 officers, to see what I had gave him.
Okay, was it a prescription from Mark Bridges?
Yes, sir.
And we have not given it provided to the state, this is a printout of his prescriptions, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And what's your relationship to Mr. Bridges?
He's a very good friend of mine. I've known him since I was 18 years old.
Well, you sleeping together and
Yeah.
anything?
Yes.
Tender defense one, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I would object to this witness is not the proper witness to sponsor that. If you look at that document, there's no indicia of authentication with regard to this. In other words, it's not a self-authenticating document. It's not certified. This is a document that could have just been created on anybody's printer with their laptop.
Of course, Your Honor, we're not dealing with a jury trial here. The court could give it whatever weight that the court wants to. I'll simply represent to the court.
I don't think she has the ability to lay the foundation for it. How can she lay the foundation for that?
Well, again, Your Honor, it's an MTRP hearing, and I would just have, it has the weight that it has. She's representing that the prescription was Mark Bridges. We don't have the.
I don't think the reverse would be true if the state was trying to do that. And the argument was it's just an MTRP hearing, but still the rules still apply.
Well, if we would have the actual bottle, I think it would reflect that whose prescription it was. She doesn't have that.
I mean, she's testified to who it is. The officers have testified that it was not hers, that it didn't have her name on it. She's testified to that name, but I'm going to sustain the objection to that document.
You voluntarily provided it to the state, is that right?
Yes, sir.
At the time you provided it to the state, were you were on being supervised at the probation department, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, part of that supervision, had you been being drug tested?
Yes, regularly.
And when was the last time you've been drug tested?
It's been a while, but it was negative.
I'd say, I didn't give you a time frame. The last time before you provided the prescription to law enforcement, how long, when did you been drug tested?
Oh, I really don't know. You'd have to ask my officers that in my phone.
Are you a methadone patient?
Yes, sir, I am.
And how long have you been a methadone patient?
6.5 years.
So at the time, am I correct in understanding at the time you provided this prescription medication to the officer that dilaudid, you were taking methadone, is that right?
Yes, sir, I still am.
What would be the problem if you ingested dilaudid while you were taking methadone?
I would not feel it at all. I mean, it would be pointless. Probably made me sick. I mean,
Were you under the influence of any type of narcotic when you were while talking to the officer?
no, sir,
Why did you cooperate with them and retrieve the pill bottle and give it to them?
because they were asking me if there was any kind of narcotics on the premises. And so I went over there to see if he had gotten it. He hadn't. So I presented it to them along with my, what had happened. They took it and led me to believe that was it.
Okay, so am I correct in understanding then that you retrieved the dilaudid, the hydromorphone, because an officer directed you to give them any narcotics that were in the residence?
Yes, sir.
You didn't just walk over to the nightstand and
No, sir.
Just to be clear, you weren't in custody when they directed you to provide narcotics, is that right?
No, sir. I was never put in custody.
You were just cooperating?
Yes, sir.
As far as your probation goes, you've heard about the community service issue. I mean, I think you've done 200 hours.
Actually, I didn't even really do that. I, was able to purchase a card, and donate it to some other place.
Okay,
They told me that was an option. They directed me, they told me that I could get a doctor's, no, I have a condition, an injury. I need a hip replacement.
Okay.
And, so I don't get around real well. And, I had provided one previously, which, Ms. Robinson, my officer, that was my probation officer prior to Mr. Kitchens, had asked me, if I could get another one, and I said I could. So, but by the time I brought it back up there, she was no longer my probation officer. It was Mr. Kitchens. But I did give it to him.
how do you maintain employment, or how do you support yourself?
I work for, Marlon Riley. I do inventory. He owns a business, garbage receptacles, trash receptacles for, contractors and things. People doing-
Private waste collection?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And what do you do there?
I answer the phones, I take, inventory, direct them, sales, whatever.
How long have you had that job?
I've worked for him for on and off 10 years.
And would you have that job available to you should the court continue on probation?
Yes, yes, I will.
Do you want to be continued on probation?
Yes, sir. I mean, if that's an option, I mean, I didn't knowingly violate anything. I lost my daughter because of this. I did not have any idea until actually that day what my daughter and her boyfriend were doing. She overdosed 6 months later. And,
She died.
yes, I found her. She overdosed at the house. And, like I said, that was my home, we lived there. He was only there to see her.
Who is he?
Angel Martinez. I only knew him because that was my daughter's boyfriend. He didn't live there. He just, was there 2 or 3 nights, maybe a week to visit with her.
Is it your opinion that her association with Mr. Martinez led to her overdose?
I know it was. I know it was.
What's your feeling towards the use of illegal drugs, specifically Dilaudid, and then?
I never thought my daughter would do that. I've had trouble with drugs all my life since I was like 15 years old. And, this is the longest time in a long time I've been clean. And, I never thought she would use her. I was shocked up until I got the autopsy results. She, died from, methamphetamine, a mixture, a toxic effect between, and I had no idea that she was on methamphetamine. I never thought she'd do something like that.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Coleman from the state's going to ask you about disreputable associations, Ricky Wood being one, I guess other ones. What is your explanation for the associations that you've had while on probation?
Ricky's a very good friend of mine. He's been a friend of mine for a long, long time. True, he had one incident where he went to prison a long time ago. But I mean, other than that, he's a good person. He stood by me, through all of this. He's helped me now.
I'm sorry, I don't want to talk about you. Is it possible for someone to have criminal history and not be a disreputable person?
Well, yes. I mean, myself, I don't consider myself a bad person. My drug use had me doing all kinds of stuff like these theft cases. So I supported it. I mean, I couldn't possibly afford what I was doing any other way. That's how I had these theft cases that happened. I was stealing to support my drug habit.
What is the word disreputable mean to you?
It means just of a bad character, that you don't care about anybody else. It's all self-serving.
Can people not have a criminal history and be disreputable?
Yes. Yes, it has to do with your character. Like if he knew that my daughter was starting to have a problem, he should have made her stop. He should have told me. He should have anything. Instead of just let her die. I mean, Cummins tells me one night that something's wrong with her.
You're talking about Mr. Martinez?
Yes. She was on the floor. He never got her off.
Hold on, that didn't have anything. move on to some of
I'll
the.
pass it to you.
I have no questions for Ms. Sanchez, Judge.
Well, I do. On this updated precedence report where Mr. Kitchen visited with you about your statement,
Yes, ma'am.
you made the statement that I thought all of this was going to be dropped because I do have a prescription. My lawyer has a copy of the prescription.
I meant the printout. I've only been able to contact my friend through the phone, you know. I've been locked up, but he provided that for them.
So
That's
you
what
didn't
I'm,
tell Mr. Kitchens anything about that person or that name?
that's what I meant was this paper here. That's what I meant, that he had provided this to Ricky. And I believe he told me he was gonna take a copy of it to my lawyer. That's what I was talking about, that it was my
So
friend's
this-
prescription.
Your
It was
friend's
not-
name is what,
Mark
Bridges?
Bridges, yes, ma'am.
And was Mr. Bridges on probation or parole or had felony offenses?
I don't know about felony offenses.
Y'all been really good friends since you were 18, so
But
tell me the truth.
I'm sure he's been to prison, yes.
Okay, so you know he has felony offenses.
Yes, ma'am.
So he has felony offenses, you're letting him stay there and you're
He stayed
putting.
there only for a couple of days. It was not something that, you know,
So
he was
why
gonna
would
be
you
moving
put
in.
his pills in your bedside
have-
table?
My oldest daughter also resided with us. That's actually where I was. I had brought her to the doctor. Well, I was watching her. I have a 4-year-old granddaughter that resided in the house. And I was so afraid, you know, that she was gonna come in and pick him up if he's left them in his pants pocket. So we put them there so she couldn't get to them.
She couldn't get into a
She,
drawer,
right,
but
she
she could
she
dig
could
in
not get
clothes.
to that drawer, no.
A 4-year-old couldn't get into a drawer.
What, other than laying on the floor in a pair of pants, when I saw them fall out of the pocket, we put it in the drawer. I mean, that was the safest place at the time. Safer place, I should say.
Anything else?
Just a really brief argument, Judge.
You can step down.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Really quickly, Judge, it's unfortunate that we could not resolve this case between the parties. The court and the state, frankly, have other cases that are much more pressing, much heavier weight and gravity and impact on our community than this case. Speaking of the rapes and robberies and murder cases, she's not the criminal or crime. This is not the crime of the central judge, but there needs to be consequences. And there needs to be consequences for this defendant violating her conditions of probation. Violating the law, associating with persons of disreputable character, and possessing those drugs or those pills without providing the probation department with a prescription, a copy of the prescription. Judge, I'm asking if the court is so inclined to revoke this defendant's probation to the minimum of 2 years in prison, for which she's probably, given the amount of time that she spent in custody, that probably has enough time or back time to satisfy that. I'm not sure. That's what I'm asking the court to do. Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Kimler,
Well, I suppose I owe the state an apology for wasting.
stand up, Mr. Kimler.
For wasting their time on this case and wasting the court's time on this case, because I was under the impression that anytime somebody has a potentiality of losing their freedom and being sent to the penitentiary is an important matter for them. Perhaps I'm wrong about that. I consider it to be very serious and worthy of the court's attention, which I'm sure the court's giving it that. The court has before it everything that it needs to make the decision. I guess suppose from the state standpoint, the solution to everything is to lock people up. Even if she isn't for the minimum of 2 years, she's still gonna be deprived of her freedom and her liberty. Somebody that is making progress on probation, Mr. Kitchen indicated to the court, he would be willing to continue to work on her on probation. Additionally, I believe she's on deferred, so.
It's not, they're both 10 over 5.
Okay, so the question of the felony convictions are, But in any case, it's still a deprivation of her freedom, and I would ask the court to give her the opportunity to continue to make progress on probation, to work with her probation officer to rehabilitate and maintain employment, be a productive member of society as opposed to being another statistic and locking her up.
So obviously you've been in custody for a little while, Ms. Sanchez, but the house, do you still have that house?
Actually, we just got an eviction notice. I had some money put up.
Who's we?
I'd say, me and Mr. Woods, my friend that also could stay there, he has packed up my stuff. We got an eviction notice put on the door. My hearing is the second for the eviction. But I had been there for, quite some time, but we've got another place to stay now. He's just waiting to see if I can get released so we can move my stuff out of the storage. A friend of mine's, her father
right.
passed her last year.
Is Mr. Kitchen still out there?
Kitchen.
I have Mr. Kitchen, she can just come stand right up here, and if they want to follow up, they can. The community supervision orders that are prepared and given to the defendants, obviously, I think it's number 3. Do not associate with any disreputable person or be present in a location where criminal act. The disreputable person part of that, how is that described to the defendant as far as what a disreputable person is? Are they told not to be around people that are on probation or on parole or have convictions? How is that?
Any person that's, criminally active or could potentially be a bad influence on the persons with, priors or people that are commonly, involved in some form of criminal activity.
So I guess it might be something we need to,
Temptation people, I guess.
I'm sorry.
People that would tempt you with temptation.
Right. I guess it's very, Mr. Kimler.
I'm sorry, it seemed to be overly vague and amorphous.
That's why I'm asking. So, okay, that's what I need to know. There's no specific list anywhere of you cannot be around somebody that's been convicted of a prior felony. It's just that's what they get. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so based on the evidence presented today, I am going to find in cause number 20-33832 and 20-34508. In each of those cases, I'm going to find count 1 true, count 3 true, and count 4 true. Part of what is an issue, I guess, with what I'm seeing here is that the date of the new offense was 2024. And it was not indicted until January of 2026. And I understand that that probably has something to do with lab testing.
Actually, it doesn't, Judge, and I neglected to ask Detective Neal about that. I can bring him back, but I can also proffer to the court that there was a tacit agreement by this defendant to provide some information. And Detective Neal will testify if I were to recall him.
Are we on YouTube now?
The judge found 3 counts true: the new offense, the disreputable associations, and the prescription violation. She had years to get it right. She had a job, a probation officer willing to keep working with her, and a judge who actually listened. But choices have consequences, and the judge's job isn't sympathy, it's accountability. Was the judge right to find her in violation? Or did this woman deserve one more chance? Comment below, hit like, and subscribe for more real courtroom breakdowns.